Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this show. Welcome to this beautiful part of the world. Even though you can't see outside, I can describe it a little bit. It's a beautiful morning this morning. We've had some beautiful, beautiful winter days, and winter here is the time where we get a lot of tourists, we get a lot of visitors, because it's like a summer in northern hemisphere. It's like summer in, let's say, down south in Sydney, because it's tropics. In our summer, which is December and January, it's normally too hot for people who are not used to the humidity and the heat. So we do have most of our visitors come at this time, but the locals were a bit cold at this time, and also the water for us, it's a little bit cold. So while you go out on the beach, or if you go out to the reef on the boat, while all the tourists are going into the water and happily swimming, us locals are wearing long sleeves and long pants and sort of complaining about the cold. But we do love it at this time, also because it is the time where there are no clouds. You just have these beautiful, beautiful sunny days, and also the evenings are clear, so you can see the stars. If you drive out of town, you can see the beautiful Milky Way and thousands and millions of stars. It's quite amazing to experience, and I do hope that every one of you, if you haven't already, have a chance to experience that, because it just puts you in such different place, to be so intimate with your own world, to be so intimate with your own experience, with your own creation. This is where the joy comes. It's just a continual joy, the continual exploration. And it is also where the body and all of the senses enjoy being alive. It is also where all of the parts of yourself participate in your life and have their own unique perspective. And this is what being multidimensional is all about, is having all of those different perspectives, all of those different views, all of those different angles of every experience that there is, and breathing in the soul, breathing in your own eternal self. It opens up so much. It opens up your perception, your perspectives in so many different ways, in so many different directions, that for the mind it is really difficult. It's actually impossible to describe, because at the same time you have the ability to perceive the depth, the width, the breadth, and much, much, much more of every moment of your experience. And it is in those moments that ecstatic feelings of being, ecstatic feelings arise automatically. They arise naturally from the depth of your own being. And we'll see if there are more people coming in, and we will welcome everybody again. And we'll take a few deep breaths. Isn't it just wonderful just to stop and just to be in this presence, in your own presence, within your own body, within your own creation? Now, for me, Alex, it is a very interesting experience doing the live shows, because Michael, of course, is very present for a few days beforehand. And speaking to you in this way, it is a very unique experience for me also, because the presence of Michael is quite different when she's speaking to you in this way. And here we are Michael, we are Michaela. And it is this easy to change the perspective. It is this easy to allow us to be at the forefront, for Alex to allow us to be at the forefront of her experience. And she is not anywhere else. She's just right here, right present, enjoying our presence, enjoying our being, enjoying our joyful life. And she would say that maybe one of these days we will let her sleep a whole night before this show. It might not happen very soon. And this is where you need to have a lot of humor. And we do bring a lot of humor because we are masters of humor. And we are masters of enjoyment. And we are masters of sensuality. We are masters of being, just enjoying, just feeling, just touching, sensing, smelling, just like this, just being joyful in our beingness, in the existence, with nowhere to go, with nowhere else to be, but right here, right now, where you are. There is nothing you have to do. Just be. And give yourself, dear ones, give yourself experience of this as many times as you can during the day, because you will come to really enjoy being in this way, being in this place. And it is in this place that your own eternal self can meet with you, can be with you. Because, dear ones, we exist in the now moment, in the present moment. We always exist in the now. And it is where we can meet with you. It is where we can be with you. We can walk with you. We can dance with you. We can smile with you. We can laugh with you. We can enjoy. And even when all of those feelings arise that you may not like, that you may not enjoy always, and we know, we understand. And there have been so many of those kind of feelings and emotions lately, haven't there, dear ones? Because Earth is clearing, as you know. The mass consciousness is clearing. Everything is coming up. And it doesn't matter when those strong emotions come up and they want to pull you into their agenda, and they want to pull you into their way of thinking, and they want to pull you into their perspective. Remember, dear ones, to come to this space. To come to this space of being, of nowhere to be, nowhere else to be, nowhere else to go, nothing that you have to accomplish or do. Just be right here, right with you, present. Taking a deep breath, because this is what will carry you through. This is what will help you to navigate through these times of intensities, through these times of eclipses, and through these times of this massive, massive clearing. And we wanted to talk about the so-called dragon. And the dragon, what we mean by that is the emotions that come, that want to overwhelm you, that sometimes feel like they're overwhelming. And it doesn't really matter whether they are from you, whether they are your ancestral emotions, whether they are your ancestral patterns or something you've picked up in this lifetime. It doesn't matter whether they are mass consciousness. What matters is that if you are feeling them, if you're experiencing them, and if they are in your body, then it is something that you need to deal with. And it is easy to say, and we know that it's not always so easy to do when you are in the depths of those emotions, when you are in the depths of perhaps depression, perhaps you're feeling pointless feelings, perhaps you're feeling all sorts of really, really difficult emotions that you don't want to feel. Abandonment, betrayal. And you can be triggered by so many things because the fuse at the moment is very short. And it is all appropriate at the moment because all of these are, as you know, and we keep repeating that they're coming up for clearing. And it is easy to be swept away by them because they come as a big wave, and they come as a dragon, and they feel like you cannot overcome them. They feel overwhelming. They can feel like you're never going to come out of them. So what to do when you are in that place? And the main thing is to be kind to yourself. And in those places, sometimes you cannot feel love, but you can stop, and you can just be with those emotions and feelings that come and arise. And it is just this act of being there, of not wanting to run away from them, or not wanting to judge them, to blame them, that will change them, that will get them unstuck. Because that's all they want to do, is they want to be free. They don't want to be who they have been for centuries, for millennia, for millions of years. They also want to move. They also want to transform. They want to be free. That's why they are coming to you, through you, to be transformed, to be let go of. And dear ones, there is important to remember to not go into them in a way. There are two parts to this. When we say do not process them, do not process the emotions, what we mean is don't step into them. Don't believe their story. Don't fall for their story. Don't go into the loop of their story. Don't try to work out where they are from, why they are there, how they will get resolved, what is the outcome, because dear ones, the only resolution to them is to let them go. You don't need to finalize their story. Their story will never be finalized because it is a loop. At the same time, you will feel them. You will feel their story. You can feel their pictures. You might get the pictures. You might get the emotions. You will definitely get that come with that. And as long as you step a little bit away, be an objective observer, but let them go through you. Let them be there. Let them go through you. Allow them to be there. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable they are, because it is just energy. It is energy. And once it starts moving, this act of being with them, this act of accepting them, it doesn't matter what they are. Even if it is shame, even if it is the most uncomfortable feelings, emotions that you can imagine, you can just step back and you can ask your internal self, you can ask ourselves to be with you. And that act will change them. That act will give them the ability to move. And once they move, the emotions, once the energy goes into motion, it is not stuck anymore, dear ones. And our presence, the presence of your eternal self, will resolve them. That is all they need, the acceptance, the presence of your eternal self. There are no other solutions. There's nothing you have to complete or do or even be with them when they go around and round and round in circle. You don't have to identify with them. You just need to be with them as an observer, as an acceptor, so to speak, of them, and that changes them and that allows them to move. And this is all you have to do with these. And when you realize that, and when you have experiences, when you transform your emotions, some emotions, whether they're yours, as we said, whether they belong to mass consciousness, they are in your awareness, so you have to deal with them in some way when they come into your awareness. You will see that you will get confident with this. You will have practice with this. And we know that most of you already have practice with this. And you will see how your internal world changes. With practice, you will get the ability to see, to perceive, to see all the subtleties of this energy, to see the subtleties of even the dragon energy, the so-called dragon energy, the shadow energy. You will see that these energies, they are not your enemy. As a matter of fact, they can actually be a wellspring of life, because they are the ones that have kept you in prison. They're the ones that have kept you stuck because you didn't want to feel them. You didn't want to deal with them. You were afraid. You thought that maybe they would be overwhelming, that you will lose control. And the mind would lose control. And the mind did everything possible and still does everything possible in the mass consciousness to avoid those feelings. But it is these dragon feelings, it doesn't matter how intense, that will allow you to feel the joy for life. Because when they move, dear ones, they're incredibly powerful. When they move, dear ones, they're incredibly creative. And when you are no longer afraid of them, when that dragon sleeps at your feet, never tamed, because, dear ones, you don't want it to be tamed, because you always would like something, some mystery in your life. You want something unknown. You want something that will keep you on that edge of, wow, what is next? Because it allows you to enjoy that, to have that joyful life, to look forward to the next moment, to be in this now moment, but to look forward to the next moment, because dear ones, in multidimensional way, you can feel all of these things. So do not be afraid of these times in this way. And even though you can deal with these emotions, maybe it takes you a week, maybe it takes you a couple of weeks, maybe it takes you a few days. Don't beat yourself up. That's the most important thing. Just be with them. Just notice them. See what they say. See how they play. See what triggers them. And it's this presence of being with them. It's basically giving them consciousness. It's bringing consciousness to these feelings. It's bringing consciousness to these emotions. And it is also creating the templates for the mass consciousness to use for them. So for other people also, they will know, unconsciously perhaps, but they will know that something has changed. They will know that there is a way out. That there is a way out of centuries and centuries and centuries of walking around in circles, going round and round and round with no solution. But no longer because of you, because of what you are doing, because of what you are allowing, because of what you are becoming, because of who you are. It's all changing. There is a way out. There is a spiral. There is no longer a closed circle for anything. And so, dear ones, as we said, do not be afraid of these energies, because these are the energies of creation. These are the energies that move mountains. These are the energies that create the universes, that create new worlds. Being a creator is not a thing. It is a full-on, intense. It is where the joy of life just overtakes you, where it's like, imagine a volcano that is creating a new island, that is creating new land, that is creating this fertile land. There is nothing subtle about that. There is nothing small about that. It is this joy, it is this burst forth of creatorship, it is this bursting forth of energy. And you can feel that now. And it will help you to move in this world. It will help you to navigate these times of intensities, because there is just so much, as you know, that has to clear. There is just so much of energy that has been stuck. And the energy that has been stuck for a reason of not wanting to feel these emotions, being afraid of these emotions. There is nothing for you to be afraid of because of who you are. I, the eternal self, Michael, I'm not afraid of anything. I don't know fear. I don't live in fear. And so can you be. Let's take a few deep breaths and feel this fearless state of being. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean that you are peaceful. It doesn't mean that you are standing still. The world is not standing still. The world can be moving, and yet you can be in this place, in this fully alive place, in this fearless place, in this place of no time, no future, just now. In this place of complete intimacy with yourself. Because being present with your eternal self, you allow us to blend in every part of you, to blend in every space of you, to slowly blend in all of those places where love did not exist, to blend in and bring consciousness and bring life and bring joy and bring future and bring the now moment. And you can feel us, you can feel your own eternal self blending with you in those spaces. And it may not be comfortable always, it may be even awkward at times. And there will be thousands and thousands of voices that will rise up in protest. And don't listen to them, step back, allow them to say what they want to say. But you are not them. Do not identify with them. And this is your way out, because just being present with them is allowing them to move, is allowing them to clear, is allowing them to start dancing again. And for some of them, you will notice some voices will not welcome you, will not welcome consciousness, will not welcome us. And that's okay too, as long as you make sure that they know those voices, that they know they are not in control of your life, that you are not identifying with them, that you are not going with their story. And they will fall in the background. And there is a space for them. And there is a joy for you to be in joy, in presence, in the now moment. And make sure that you create this kind of space in every day, not tomorrow, not the day after, not next week, but today. This kind of space, and it doesn't have to be for long periods of times. It's just these little reminders of who you really are, of what you're doing, of where you are, and just of being, to remind you of this joy as you're walking in your world, as you're walking among the people that are lost, as you're walking among the people that are feeling the fear, the uncertainty, that are feeling all of the emotions without end, without solution. And you, dear ones, you are the solution. And just feel yourself and give yourself a pat for all the work that you have done. And remember, when you look in the mirror, to say thank you to yourself, because we say thank you to you for all the work that you do every day, for all the work that you have done, for all the work that you continually do, for all the allowing that you have done, for all the things that you have allowed yourself to see about yourself, about your world. And you are the solution to everything. And you don't have to do anything, just be. Be intimate with your own world. And as your inner world transforms, because it is not only for other people that you are doing this, because as we know, it is not for other people that you are doing this, but for yourself. You will notice this beautiful transformation, these beautiful changes inside of you. And you will notice all of the different feelings that you didn't know that you had before. The way that the energy flows, the way that the emotions flow, the way that the feelings flow with presence of consciousness. It's very enjoyable, it's very subtle. There are so many different experiences, and you can play with this because there are so many different perspectives. There is no more one truth, there is no more one point of view. You can practice this by looking at something. For example, you can look at flower and just feel how many different voices are observing that flower, how many different voices are noticing that flower, finding it beautiful, and all of the different things that that flower invokes in you. And also notice the voices that don't like flowers at all. They're okay as well. They have a right to be. Their perspective is exactly right as well. And you can be all these things, and you can play around in everyday life. You can play around as you walk around your town. As you walk around in your shopping center, you can take on all these different all these different beings of yourself, all these different perspectives. You don't have to be, there is not one thing that you are being linear, one thing that is finished, that is gone. When you have the presence of your own soul, when you have the presence of your own eternal self, it changes perspective on anything. It changes, you have to change relationship with everything, even with your authenticity. Or for example, let's say when you think of as lying, what you thought of as lying before was just taking a perspective of one single part of you. And yet now when you are multidimensional, what does that even mean when there are so many voices and all of them are right, all of them are true? And this is not meant to scare you. It does at times scare the mind, but it is actually very enjoyable. And it is freeing because you're not stuck in any one story. You're not stuck in any one perspective. You're not stuck on one side of the coin because you have all of these different perspectives. Your inner world becomes very fluid, very changeable, very malleable. And with that, for the human self, it's not always. It takes some time. It takes some to get used to this as well, because we welcome all feelings, and there are particular experiences to do with this that at times human does not also like, because this is not all joy all the time. When you, for example, let's say you have a new experience and you enjoy it and you fully live it, and then you're done with that experience, and you will find when your eternal self also wants a new experience and it's very present, you will find that the feelings of how shall we say, of the smallness come, because when the new is just around the corner and the old is just finishing, and your eternal self is present, you will see that at times you feel how everything up to now was very small. And yet while you were in that experience, it seemed grand, it seemed huge. It seemed to have taken up all of your time, all of your feelings, all of your emotions, all of your attention. And yet you're always at the beginning, and you're always at the end, and you're always in the middle of everything as well. So being always at the beginning means that you can always feel that excitement about something new. And you are always this student also. And you never arrive anywhere. You never arrive to the end, because there is a part of you that is always at the beginning. And this is where a human self finds at times confusing, because the human self wants the beginning, the progression, and the end. And yet our experience, your eternal self, doesn't experience things in this way. It experiences it all at the same time. And it can be frustrating for the human, because human is used to endings. Human is used to some kind of results for the activity. You are at the beginning, then you do certain things, then you feel a master of those things. So you are at the end that's the human experience. And it can throw the human a little bit off center in this way, because this feeling of being always at the beginning, it can sometimes feel as if you lack confidence, because you feel like you're not getting anywhere, because you have this feeling of always being at the beginning. And at the same time, you'll see that you can also tap into being at the end, because that is always there as well, being the master. So you can feel both at the same time. You should try it. You should play with this. Just allow all of these feelings to unfold. Get familiar, get intimate with your feelings, with the subtleties of them, with the subtleties of your inner world and the deliciousness of your inner world. And you'll see how they change. And call upon us. Call upon your own eternal self to be with you, and we will show you the subtleties of your own self, and we will show you the immense value of you, of who you are, just by being you, just by feeling, experiencing, the great experiencer of things. And you will notice how beautifully, deliciously these parts of you change, and you don't even have to do anything. You can just sit on a grass somewhere, or you can sit in town, watch the people, and you can go into this beautiful, timeless space where you're enjoying yourself, where you're enjoying these subtleties of experiences, when you're enjoying the transformation of energies, of the dance of energies, and it's all happening on the inside. And on the outside, if someone was to watch you, they would maybe just see the subtle changes on your face, and yet on the inside, so much is happening. And so your life becomes simplicity in this way, because it is so rich, so deep, so dynamic in all the different ways that it can be. And it's full of exploration, and it's full of excitement. And you don't even have to go anywhere. You can if you want to. But play with this, and it will give you this wonderful experiences throughout your day. And as we said, if you have a lot on your plate, we know that there are parents, people going to work, people going to jobs, and maybe you're running out of time, but just make sure that you find time for 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there to experience, to step into this world, because you will find, dear ones, that as you practice this, it will automatically become your way of life. And as you create this kind of openings for yourself, you will also notice that it will automatically bring change to your life, because you are doing something different. You are allowing your eternal self to be present with you in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day experiences. And that automatically changes everything. It automatically changes the flow of energies, as you know. And we know that it is easy to be swept away, and it is easy to even sometimes for days forget about these kind of things. Perhaps you need post-it notes in your bathroom, in a mirror, just to remember, or put them in your purse, put them in a places, maybe draw a picture to remember at your workplace, so that you will not draw attention if you don't want to draw attention. But make sure you do these things. Make sure you do this kind of, that you allow yourself to experience this throughout your day, because this is extremely important, because this is what will carry you through these times of intensities. For dear ones, the intensities are not finished yet, far from being finished. But they don't have to go on for you, because with acceptance of your own things, of your own dragon, you don't have to be afraid. You will find that what happens is that as you allow, as you be, as you master, what once was scary, what once was big, becomes very manageable, becomes very small, because you realize that nothing is bigger than you. Nothing is bigger than your eternal self. Nothing is bigger than your master self. It is not overwhelming, because all is your creation. You are the creator. And as you give yourself these kind of experiences, and you practice, and you be, and you change, and you transform, and you bring all of these subtle energies to this plane of existence. And you are doing this already, and you have been doing this already. We are just reminding you. We're not telling you anything new. We're just reminding you. And we love you. And we remind you of this love. And today we wanted to also remind you of this gentleness, of the gentleness to just be, of the gentleness of flower, and how fearless it is to be so gentle in this world. In this world that wants you to close down, close up, become harsh, become a warrior, become a battler. It is so fearless to be gentle, to be timeless, to not be in a hurry, to take that time. This is what rebellion means today. To take that time out from the busyness of the world, to say no to the constant business and take this time for yourself. And just be and allow and be with your eternal self and allow yourself to be to dive deeply into us, to feel the safety, to feel the acceptance of you just as you are, with everything, with all the dark places that you think of, dark unlovable places, and allow the infusion and allow us to enter subtly, gently, or even as a big river enters into those spaces. And you will see how your world transforms, your day-to-day life transforms. And it becomes so satisfying to be you. It becomes so satisfying to experience, to live, to feel, to be new, to be newness, to be at the beginning, always at the beginning, to be at the end, always at the end, and everything else that is in between. To be so intimate with yourself. There is such a joy, there is such a deliciousness about being so intimate, about not being afraid of yourself, about not being afraid of any parts of yourself. To allow all of them to just be, to allow all of them to dance, to transform, or to just be. And to be in this place where you can just choose who you are, who you want to be, what you want to feel in every moment, what you want to experience. There is such a joy in such a joy in this freedom, dear ones. And we want to remind you just of how much of how we love you and how much we are delighted that you are allowing us to be here, that you are allowing us as you can more and more each day to be here with you, to be present with you, to enjoy this deliciousness of this world. And we just want to remind you of just how joyful things can be, because the world outside for sure does not, the mass consciousness is not reminding you of that. The mass consciousness is constantly reminding you of all the problems, of everything that has to be done, of everything that is wrong. So be a rebel and just take your time for yourself. Be a rebel and enjoy. Be a rebel and slow down time for yourself. Be timeless. Love yourself. Accept yourself. Play. Play and be who you want to be. And this is what we wanted to remind you today. And we wanted to love you as we always do. And we will now have a look. We will calling forth Alex to read it, to see if there are any questions for today's show. Okay. Ooh. So here we are. Let's have a look. Do we have any questions? Perhaps if anybody is new, you do have a Q&A panel where you can type up any questions if you had for today's show. And we'll see if we can answer your question. Oh, I'm going to have some coffee. That was going somewhere deep. Okay, we don't have any questions. Okay. So we will talk to you more then about how do you allow this intimacy in a place where it doesn't feel safe. How do you allow this intimacy with yourself if you are surrounded with very intense energies as we are at the moment? So we do suggest you, and as you know, we do suggest to go to nature, because this is one of the greatest ways, one of the easiest ways of where you find peace, of where you find that balance. And by balance we mean um, by balance, what we mean is just finding that timelessness. By balance, what we mean is finding the ability to just be with yourself, because nature accepts you as you are. There is no judgment in nature. And if you are sitting, let's say you're sitting under a tree, and just feel that tree, feel its presence. You can feel its energy. You can feel how connected it is to its roots. You can feel how ancient it is. You can feel how timeless it is. You can feel how okay it is with everything, with all the changes, with the weather, with the rain, with the sun, how it can adapt, how it can talk, how it can communicate. And you can feel its sensuality of just being. You can feel its acceptance of everything. And you can feel that for yourself. And it can assist you greatly in being present with yourself. Another thing that we suggest is movement. Go for walks. Do some movement, because the body likes to stretch. The body likes some gentle exercise. You don't have to do a marathon, but just being and looking after your body, and also just the everyday sensuality is what will assist you, enjoy. Perhaps cooking, perhaps doing something with your hands, doing some artwork, and it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. And you can notice, perhaps maybe you have some voices that say, oh, you're not an artist, you're not good at this, you're not good at that. And you can allow them just to be, and you don't allow yourself to be stopped by those voices. And this is what is the main difference of being with your eternal self, because you can allow the voices to say whatever they want to say, and yet you can still do what you want to do. For example, if you want to draw, if you want to paint, the voices will say all sorts of things. Perhaps it is your parents' voice, perhaps it is the voice of your society that says you're not good enough, or whatever it is that is stopping you, that is trying to stop you from enjoying the painting. And you can just still do it. You can just still decide, no, I'm going to do it. And you can step into the enjoyment of things. And you can step into being a master painter, feel yourself a master painter, pretend to be a master painter, and you will be. And enjoy the moment with paints. And it is this kind of things that will bring you into the now moment. It is the very simplicity, dear ones. Remember, it is the simple things that carry you through these times. It is the simple things of being with yourself. It is the simple things of being with us, breathing with us in your every single day, in your every single moment that you can remember to do that. You don't have to do anything special. You can if you want to. But it is within your life that you find those moments where you allow us in, where you would just be with us. Whether it is going for a walk in nature, sitting under a tree, painting, doing any art, doing sewing, for example, doing woodwork, doing anything that you enjoy, listening to music. As long as you become aware of yourself, as long as that activity or no activity brings you to yourself, brings you to the deep breath, brings you to be aware of us, can even change everyday things into the masterpieces, into works of sensuality. You're repairing something, maybe you're repairing something in a garage, maybe you're doing cleaning. Allow us, call us, allow us to be with you in those moments, and notice how they change. Because this change, it is not like some that you step into somebody else's life. It is that your own life, your own things, your own emotions, your own feelings get transformed. So you don't escape anything, and there is nothing to escape. Our presence changes your life, your everyday life, things that are part of your life already. So that's why we are saying to bring awareness, to bring consciousness to everything that you are doing. And initially, not initially, because we don't actually have any beginners with us today, but in the times of greater intensity as it is now, it is important to have those special moments that you take for yourself, just to remind you, and at the same time transform, bring awareness to, bring consciousness to the everyday experience, to everyday doings that you are doing. For example, if you are at work, if you're working with computer, bring your consciousness there, bring us there, allow us to be there with you, and watch how everything transforms. And you will notice that initially all of the energies that are present at that time in spaces where there was no consciousness before may be very resistant to this, and yet you have to just be very firm with that, uncompromising, because it's your choice. You choose the allowance, you choose the presence of your soul, and there is nothing in this whole existence that can stop that choice. Those energies may try, because they are afraid, those energies may try to distract you, and it is easy to be distracted, and you will be distracted, and that's fine. Just acknowledge that you forgot, that you were distracted, and move on. And it's here your freedom, because there is no beating yourself up. It's absolutely not necessary to beat yourself up if you get distracted. Just start again, start anew, move on, and allow. And this is how you do it. And you may need to do this 1,000 times. And you may go through periods of time when something happens and you have this wonderful time and you have wonderful feelings and it is easier. And then it becomes more challenging again. And it's just a flow and ebb flow of life. And you may have to remind yourself 1,000 times, and we will remind you. Make an agreement with your own soul, with your own eternal self, to remind you when you are distracted. And then just allow. And it becomes easier and easier and easier. And it becomes like a second nature. And it is a natural way, because this is who you are. It is a natural way of being. It is just that you find yourself, that you have chosen to be here in very challenging energies, in a time of big changes, in a time of big movements of energies. And it is this that is challenging, not you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are everything right. You are perfect, just the way you are. And we will have a look if there are any questions. Okay, so we have one question. Lately, I feel that all things have no purpose for me, and I don't like this feeling at all. I do accept that this is here, but why do I feel this way? Where is the joy? Okay, so I think we believe that we have touched on this before. And oftentimes, the feeling of no purpose comes when there is a change in your life. So that the old is finished, the old way of being, and something new is around the corner. And in that time, there is often this feeling of no purpose because you are no more engaging with the old reality, and yet the new reality hasn't formed yet. And it is just to be present with this feeling and just to accept this feeling and know that this too will pass. This feeling has a place, and there is something very exciting around the corner, something new. And to be okay with these feelings. And this is one of the advantages of having your own eternal self present, is that you can be okay with all of these feelings. You can be okay with uncomfortable feelings, what used to be uncomfortable feelings. And you can just let them be, because they are not going to go away. Like, feeling the joy of life does not mean that the other uncomfortable feelings are not present. It does not mean that emotions are not present. It does not mean that all the other energies are not present, and the mass consciousness and the fear-based consciousness is not present. It's all still here. It is just what you are choosing to feel, and also that you are okay with all sorts of feelings, and you can just let them be. And they will transform and they will change, because you are a dynamic being. We are dynamic. Everything changes. And yet we have all sorts of feelings. And it is okay to just be with this feeling of everything being pointless and see how it changes. And even if it didn't change, you'll notice just being with it. It's okay. It's just energy. It's just a feeling. And it will change and it will transform, and other feelings will come. And you will notice, as you're playing with this, you will notice subtleties of everything else. And you will notice how it transforms, how it changes. It's like the waves, or it's like the river that flows, continually flows, and nothing stays the same. And we love you so, dear ones, and we thank you for your question. And we'll see if we have any more questions. No, I think this is all for today. And dear ones, we feel that we have completed for today. We have gone quite deeply, and it is not our words that are the most important thing. It's the energy transmission. And we have traveled in deep spaces. We have traveled far. So dear ones, look after yourself and take care of yourself and allow yourself. And most of all, love yourself. And we give you blessings, and we thank you for your presence, for your precious presence here with us today. Thank you. And we'll see you next time. Oh, I think we have another question. All right. Okay, we have another question. We won't go before we answer this one as well. Okay. I've been feeling the energy of the dragon for about a week now, and it seems the connection with spirit is somewhat hindered by it. I do keep breathing, but can't get into joy as intensely as when the dragon is not present. Thank you so much for addressing these energies and bringing more clarity to my experience. Okay, dear one, yes, when the dragon is present, it is sometimes hard, it is sometimes not even possible to feel the subtlety of joy, to feel the self-love. But it is present, it is there, because we are with you, because you are connected with us. It is just the dragon can be so overwhelming. The feelings, the emotions of the dragon can feel so overwhelming. And the only thing in those times to do is just to be with it. to go about your daily experiences and to make sure that you keep doing beautiful things for you, that you keep doing wonderful, sensual things for yourself, that you keep going for walks, that you continue to love yourself as much as you can, care for yourself. Perhaps take a bath, sit down, make sure you get enough sleep, hopefully, and look after yourself and know that the time of the dragon will pass also. And do not beat yourself up. Just be with the dragon. Be with the intensity of the feelings, because, dear ones, it is the energy, it is the eclipse energy of these times that is bringing all of that up. And it may not be yours. It may be your ancestry. It may be mass consciousness. It may be the earth releasing in the place where you are. It doesn't matter where these feelings, emotions come from, where this energy comes from. But you do have to deal with it. And as we said, in those times, it is difficult to feel the gentle self-love. It is difficult to even access. And yet you keep doing it. You keep taking the time to sit and just be with us, to allow us. And at times, being quiet, and at times taking quiet times in those times, can bring up even more dragon energy, and at times it feels so overwhelming that you don't know what to do with them. And you keep breathing and you keep allowing. And at times you will find that also you will need to distract yourself, because there is nothing to do. It is just to walk through and with these energies and look after yourself. There is nothing to do, just be with them. And you will see they may not transform in one day, they may transform in a few days. And the dragon will lie down, and it will lie down at the feet of the master, because you allow it. Just as you have not, you allow it in a way that you have not allowed it before. And you allow all of these emotions to come to the fore, to be heard for the first time. And this is the big change for them, because you are allowing them, you are hearing them. And as you are allowing and hearing them, they will not be so overwhelming, because the reason why they're overwhelming is just because they haven't been heard for such a long time, dear one. They have been living in the dungeons. They just want to be heard. They want to be accepted. They also want freedom, some of them. Some of them may not be ready. And yet you, as the master, you can be with them, you can accept them, you can love them. Even if that doesn't do anything for them or with them, if they don't allow your love, then it can't transform them. But you can still, you can choose the love, you can choose the acceptance, regardless of how they act, regardless of how they react. And at times, you just be with them and still do the beautiful things that you do for yourself. And you will see it will change. And as we said, maybe they won't change, but your ability to handle them, your ability to be with them will change, and the dragon will lie at your feet. And remember to feel safe. Remember to invoke those feelings of safety. Remember to allow yourself to feel us, to feel the embrace of us, and fall deeply into us. And together, we can be with the dragon. And together we can feel its fiery aliveness. And together we can feel its strength. And together we can feel your strength. And we can feel your fierceness together. And we don't have to be afraid anymore of your own power, of your own fierceness, of your own well-being, of your ability to say no to things that you do not want to experience, no to people that perhaps have taken advantage of you. It is this dragon that will give you the ability to change your energy in such a way that no no experiences will ever touch you in a damaging way, touch you in a way that will hurt you. It is this dragon that has the depth, the fierceness, that will allow you to feel safe, that will allow you, that will give you that ability to say no, that ability to give yourself permission to not create experiences that you don't want to experience just to perhaps please others or out of duty towards others. And that duty towards others as a woman is changing because you are allowing yourself the freedom to say no. You are allowing yourself to care for you first. And you are allowing yourself to be free, to be careless, to be careless in a way that you can enjoy life, that you don't have to take on the problems of others or family members. Because this is the these are the ancestral patterns of all of the women in this world, of the feminine energy, of the wounded female feminine energy, human energy. And allow yourself to feel the divine feminine, the feminine that is not wounded, that is healed, that is complete, that is wild, that is free, that is creative, that draws deep from that well of creativity, of life, of ideas, of joy, of wanting to be. And that energy is not tame, dear one. So remember, the dragon will help you to allow yourself to feel this kind of energies, to allow yourself to accept these wild, untamed energies. The energies of the volcano erupting, uncontrollable, creative, the part that creates new worlds. There is nothing tame about that. And yet, the world has taught that the feminine energy is nice and quiet, but we mean quiet in a way that you don't express your own that you don't express your own preferences and feelings, that you put yourself last. This is not the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy. The divine feminine energy is alive, is fierce, can be loud, can scream throughout the whole creation. I am that I am. I am not quiet, but I am wild, and I am fierce, and I am free, and I am untamable. So embrace your dragon. It is here for a reason. And allow its emotions, allow its feelings, allow its being just to be with you. Because it is not here to hurt you. It is here to wake up all of those raw, creative abilities that you have. And we thank you, dear one, for your question. And we know you, dear one, and we embrace you, and we love you. Thank you. Okay, let's see if we may have another question. No, that was those two. Okay, and now we do say goodbye to all of you, and we bless you, and we'll see you until next time.